We saw KK doing some defensive drills. Just how is she doing after that hit in the jaw on Sunday?
She seems good to me. She's KK. You know, she's like the Terminator. She said she's good to go.
This group of forwards, or with the forwards beyond Aaliyah, just what are you looking to see from them moving forward? What are you, I guess, just
activity on both ends of the floor. I mean, activity on the defensive end, being disruptive, rebounding. We got to do a better job of rebounding and really being hard divers.
Is it actually possible for a coach to actively sabotage their own superstar? If you ask veteran sports commentator Jason Whitlock, the answer is an absolute yes. And he is holding nothing back. Right after the Indiana Fever suffered a brutal overtime loss to the Washington Mystics, the internet completely exploded. Caitlin Clark dropped 32 points, including 7 3-pointers. She nails a wild buzzer beater to literally drag her team to overtime. But what does head coach Stephanie White do with the game on the line? She uses the best shooter on earth as a mere decoy. Jason Whitlock just dropped a massive bombshell on X, calling this move absolute coaching malpractice. He is calling for Stephanie White to be fired, claiming the league has Caitlin Clark derangement syndrome, and stating flat out that this woman hates Caitlin Clark. Is this just loud chatter from a noisy pundit, or is Whitlock exposing a toxic locker room divide in Indianapolis? Today, we are analyzing the game footage, the tweets, and the massive double standard driving Fever fans to demand a change. Get your popcorn, hit subscribe, because this basketball drama is getting seriously ugly. Welcome back to Clark Heat. You know who it is. If you are following the WNBA this year, you know the Indiana Fever season is far from a fairy tale. Everyone expected them to come out of the gate firing, but they have stumbled to a brutal start. But the biggest story is not just their record. It is how they lose, and specifically how Caitlin Clark is being played. Let's revisit that Mystics game, ending 104-102. The Fever lost in overtime, but the simple box score hides what went down on the sidelines. To see why Jason Whitlock went completely off, we need to examine the coaching decisions before his reign. Let us talk about that second quarter. With Caitlin Clark on the floor struggling to find her groove, what does Coach Stephanie White decide to do? She benched Clark for way too long. During her absence, the Mystics went on a massive 20-9 run. The offense died completely. The coaching rotations were totally bizarre. You have Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, your franchise building blocks, yet they are separated for long stretches. There is no pick and roll, no chemistry, just messy, isolated basketball. But even after getting benched and shooting a cold 2 for 15, Caitlin Clark did what she does best. She absolutely caught fire in the final quarter. She drops 17 of her 32 points in that period, hitting a wild fadeaway three-pointer to force overtime. Now, skip ahead to the final seconds of overtime. The Fever are trailing. They need a basket to survive. You have a legendary player who literally carried you to this point. You draw up a play for your star, right? Wrong. Stephanie White designs a play where Clark is smothered, acting as a decoy to open up Lexi Hull. The shot misses, the Fever lose the game, and social media absolutely erupts. And that is exactly when Jason Whitlock enters the picture, bringing major receipts with him. Whitlock, never one to hold his tongue, immediately jumped on social media to blast the benching as absolute coaching malpractice in Indiana. He argued that Coach White used a rotation, keeping Boston and Clark apart for too long. The offense collapsed, but he did not stop there. When the postgame presser started, things got highly personal. When reporters asked about Clark hitting the shot that forced overtime, Stephanie White refused to praise her superstar rookie. Instead of celebrating her 32 points and clutch performance, White dryly demanded more consistent effort from her. Whitlock hit back with a post that completely broke WNBA social media. Comparing it to how White praised Kelsey Mitchell last season, he added, "This woman hates Caitlin Clark. My goodness." Then he followed that up with a major demand aimed directly at the Fever front office. This game has to change everything for Indiana. fire Stephanie White and rebuild the entire system around Caitlin Clark. You can not put the genie back in the bottle. This is Caitlin's team, period. On his popular podcast the following day, Whitlock coined a brand new term for it, calling it Caitlin Clark derangement syndrome. He believes the league and her coach are blinded by petty jealousy because Clark is transcending women's basketball, so they actively try to minimize her. Is he onto something? Let us examine the evidence. Accusing a coach of hating her star player is serious, but fans instantly dug up the proof to support him. Let us look at this double standard. Last season, when Kelsey Mitchell had a similar hot streak, hitting tough shots and carrying the roster, Stephanie White walked up to the podium and said, speechless, really. She put us on her back, hit big shot after big shot. She never settled, stayed aggressive, and honestly, she just carried us. Now compare that to how she treated Clark after the rookie dropped 32 points and sank a buzzer beater. We showed we can make tough shots. We just need to do it way more consistently. Hear the difference there? One is glowing personal praise. The other is a cold collective critique disguised as team growth. You cannot ignore that shift in tone, which is exactly why analysts like Whitlock sense a massive disconnect in the locker room. If your head coach won't back you after you drop 30 plus points and force overtime, how can you trust her to draw up the game winner? So where do the Indiana Fever go from here? Sure, they bounced back against the Seattle Storm with Clark logging a double-double, but the real problem has not faded away. Jason Whitlock put it perfectly. You cannot squeeze the toothpaste back into the tube. This is Caitlin Clark's franchise now. The massive ticket sales, the sold-out arenas, the national television spots it is, all because of number 22. If Stephanie White cannot find a way to set her ego aside, run Clark in the pick and roll with Aaliyah Boston, and design plays that put the ball right in her hands when the game is on the line, she will not last in Indianapolis. The league is a business. And right now, Jason Whitlock is saying out loud what thousands of fans are only whispering. Stephanie White is mismanaging the most valuable asset this league has ever seen. But that is just my take on these bombshell claims. Now, I want to hear from you. Is Whitlock actually right? Does Stephanie White have Caitlin Clark derangement syndrome? Or is she just trying to coach her roster and teach a young star about consistency? Was using her as a decoy a smart move that fell short, or was it absolute coaching malpractice? Tell me what you think in the comments down below. I will be reading and replying to as many as possible. If you liked this breakdown, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss an update on this ongoing drama. Until next time, keep your eyes on the court. I will see you in the next video.